Kevin Hartman will tell us why South by Southwest sucked.
So I'm gonna bring the room down a bit now, since Chris just lifted it up. But really, South by Southwest was a great experience, right? And for the things that it had, it was great, but what really struck me were the things that it didn't have. For that reason, I'm talking to you about why it sucked. So what South by Southwest really was the greatest minds all getting together. And like I said, the things that are there, the greatest minds in technology, the greatest minds in marketing, the greatest minds in space, talking about a lot of really relevant and interesting things. And what it had, it was great. There were a lot of great things. There were fantastic panel discussions. They had great one-on-one interviews with experts. They had these networking meetups where you can get together with people that share interests with you and talk about them and meet them and network. There were roving TV commentators. I thought that was just a really funny picture. Mike Tyson was there. Right? There were parties in the streets. I mean, they take over Austin, yeah? So it's a lot of fun and there's a lot of things going on. There's also parties on the escalators, right? And this guy, you can't really see this, but that guy right there seems to be the only person really truly aware of the dangers of partying. There's all sorts of irreverence. Like, I didn't check this out. I like movies, I don't know what it was exactly, but it was there anyways. And then when you went outside, there was free ice cream. So it really had everything that you could want. And everybody here knows, right, when you mix irreverence and free ice cream, what do you get? Hipster. Really, like, truthfully, everywhere you look. But it also has some really interesting things. I mean, I would encourage everyone to go out and pick this up, find this on the internet. It's something called South by Southwest Hoax. It had 50 stories of people that were there kind of making a ruckus, right? Talking about what they were doing. It had some of the greatest stories of people that are really innovating in space. Some of the people that I got to see. And that was great. And on the second day, I got an invite to a meetup that was called The Art of Science. And I thought, oh, this is perfect. Right? If anyone knows anything about customer intelligence, we kind of think of ourselves as blending art and science, right? So we are artistic scientists. And so I run off this thing really excitedly. I got my thing in my hand. I'm like, hey, I'm an artistic scientist. And I get talking to these people, and they're kind of looking at me blankly, and then they say, well, I'm a botanist, and I'm a biologist, and I'm a rocket scientist. These are real scientists. This is not kind of the data sort of story I was hoping to tell here. Right? So I went off, and then it occurred to me like I should really be thinking about what is going on here, what are people talking about. So I looked at this resource that I talked to you all about, right? And just did a quick kind of word cloud on what is involved in the things that these leaders in the industry are talking about. They're talking about a bunch of different stuff, but something, really what came out of this was being the first to get to a space, right? Find an open space and get there. Then, I went and I looked at the session book that South by Southwest hands out, this big, thick session book on what all the meetings and meetups and everything are going on, and what's going on in there. Well, social media popped up. Data's right here. Chevy, which is just a little bigger, is right here. Always interesting. The next thing I did, and you're not going to be able to see this very well, is just kind of look at, well, what are the session books talking about, right? What did they design in the session, and what did the Popes, what do those people talk about, right? There was very little agreement. The session book was talking about social media, new were the big three, one people first, the big three for the Popes, data, technology, very, very low. It wasn't talked about at all. Why is this surprising to you? Right? Why did I find this so surprising? Because I think there are three big reasons why, at least we see technology being so important in the advertising space. One is just to learn behaviors of advertisers. This is affecting all of us, right? The second one is growth of new data mediums, and the third was the unyielding march of technology. This is what happened to the household wealth of boomers between 2004 and 2009. Cut in half, right? Those people, and we all know this, as they went through this tremendous loss of income and wealth, they found substitutes. They started realizing, hey, I can use the generic brand. And now as the economy picks back up, they're sort of like, generic brand wasn't that bad. This is the same thing that is happening with our clients' advertising. During that same period of time, their spending went way down, right? They're expecting more and more efficiency from their spend. They've learned when they put the screws to us, right, and making us prove out the value of what we've done, they kind of like that. As things start to pick up, they're going to be doing that. Data is the way that we prove the value of what we're doing, is how we proved our efficiency. The other thing is, right now there are 1 trillion websites available to all Americans, right? Tremendous amount of data creating these. These are motivational messages too, if anyone has 1 million websites, all like laying out really clearly defined behaviors by consumers, and data, right? More data that we can use to figure out what people want, who they are, what they do. Facebook has exploded, right? I mean, in the last year alone, the growth of that is tremendous. That is a treasure trove of data sources and insights for all of us that know how to use it. Advertisers are figuring it out. When you look at the kind of mediums that they're advertising in, these are traditional newspaper, magazine, radio, TV. The difference from 2009 to 2010 down, online, mobile, up. Incidentally, the number of times that Facebook was mentioned in the South by Southwest session book, 32, a little more than they said people, less than anything else of any relevance. The South by Southwest Pokes guide was 6 times. Finally, unyielding martial technology, you all know the thing that you hold in your hand, that phone, tremendous computing power, tremendous connectivity power. That is giving consumers the ability to have content when they want it and what they want exactly, right? More data brought to them. This is a view of what's going on in our data lives, right? So this is the amount of storage, analog at the gray bar, from 1980 to 1990 to about 1995. This is what's happened over the last 15 years. It's exploded now to where we have nearly 1 trillion gigabytes of data out there that people need to analyze and people are able to connect with and bring into their kind of entertainment ecosystem. Things that we need to know as marketers, what they want, when they want it, how they're using it. So saying all that, these are the things that I learned. I went there kind of expecting that data would be more in the forefront of conversation. It's not. The things that we do here, the way that we use data for advertising, is very novel. I mean, I really feel that we are data for experiment, for tier 1. Not just in CI, I'm talking about in every single discipline, everyone that knows how to use data to make better communication. There remains enormous potential to do this. Everything that we do, when we think it's new, right? I mean, the novel concepts that we're adopting really are novel. They're not being copied or used by other people right now. There's a tremendous opportunity for us to really own and rush into that space. But it's going to close up soon. And you can't have this many signs. The things that we see, the things that we know to be the truth, go unnoticed, right? Those things will be picked up by competitors. We have seen a little bit of move, and it's going to happen. It's going to come. So here's what I have. The goal for next year is to make data and draft SCB a little more prevalent in next year's South by Southwest. And if this is my dream, right? If I did this thing next year, we would see this data draft SCB much bigger than Chevy. Thank you.